Back out on the porch again. I'm not dicking around with any microphones today or cheap cameras. I'm going to use a Sony. And we're going to have to put up with a little bit of traffic noise, neighbor cutting their lawn, all that kind of shit. So anyway, since I've had more requests for some, I guess, war stories from the biker days. I've got a few that I've thought about that I can talk about, and without really letting too much out. But this I guess I'm going to make maybe 2 or 3 different videos. It's also going to include a lot of the aspects of female nature, the women I was involved with, and why I no longer have any desire to have anything to do with women, relationships, or any of it. In either case, I can start with, let's see here, we'll go to when we moved to Houston. Now, by this time, I'd married my first wife, and it was, maybe late 78, probably late 78, early 79, that we left Florida to move to Houston because basically the country, really the whole U.S. was in a recession. Work was hard to find, and Houston at the time was boomtown. That was where things were happening. A lot of work, a lot of construction. Bob Seger even did a song, or pretty much an album on that. I think Boomtown Blues was all about Houston. Fire Lake was about Houston. Matter of fact, I lived right at Fire Lake. But anyway, we went out there. We got jobs. I got a job driving a concrete mixer. Mechanic jobs were far and few between, and everything revolved around construction. So unless you wanted to dig ditches or hump or whatever, and I had a chauffeur's license and I'd driven trucks before, so I got the job doing that, and that paid well. It really did. Long hours, hard days. Things went pretty well for a couple of years until it started to dry up a little bit. My wife and I and everybody we hung around back in those days, drugs were rampant. I mean, everybody we knew did drugs, and basically, cocaine, acid, pot, of course, the Mexican Quaaludes, crack cocaine hadn't made the scene yet. And anyway, anybody smoking crack or coke was people like Richard Pryor that could afford that kind of shit. We never got involved with that. It was all blow up the nose. And, we moved out of the one place we had up in New Caney and moved into town into a 3 2-bedroom house. I bought her a Z28 Camaro, and not shortly thereafter, well, actually, I'll get to the biker end of it. When we moved into that house, the guys living across the street were part of a club. I got pretty friendly with them, then got to meet the club and everything, the rest of the guys, and they asked me to prospect. Now, I've prospected before for a club and held a patch, and I know what prospecting entails. It's shit like waking up in the middle of a beach, handcuffed to your bike with a note pinned to your shirt saying, "Be back at the clubhouse at 6 o'clock, bring 2 cases of beer and 2 women." Talk about a fucked up day. So anyway, I wasn't real keen on prospecting for a club or anything, but yeah, I got along with most of the guys pretty good. And pollen is bad. So I said, all right, because I said, yeah, it wouldn't be long anyway, just kind of a formality, you know. And I thought, yeah, what the fuck, I got nothing better to do. I'm on unemployment by now. And so I went in there. So first duty I had, I think, was at a party of clubs, where there were multiple clubs getting together, and it was going to be a big party, and people were going to talk and work some things out. Of course, the it was going to be the major club, the sanctioning club in the area, holding the area and the party, but my job was to have cooler duty, which cooler duty meant taking care of the cooler that the club brought, that nobody else got any drinks out of it, just the members. And they told me to bring my own poison, whatever I'm drinking. And I thought, okay, I know where this is going. So I took a bottle of 151 proof rum, put the rum in another bottle, and filled that one up with iced tea. Since it's brown in color, just like, the rum, and it'd be dark anyway, figured I'll take that with me. Nice cold bottle of iced tea and a rum bottle. I drank that shit all night long at the party, handing out drinks, meeting people, talking. And then everybody's egging me on. It's like, you're taking too long, come on, drink up, But okay, finished the whole bottle off. So after that, I might have had one or two beers afterwards, and everything got closed down. That was probably around 3 o'clock in the morning. And that was the end of the party. So went back to the clubhouse, took the cooler back, took some other shit back, went home. Next day I went back in, see what needed cleaning up at the clubhouse. And a lot of the guys were there, and they were all, oh man, slapping me on the back, boy, you can drink, and you didn't pass out. And, I just grinned, and I never let on, I never said a word, but all of a sudden I had this bullshit respect that sometimes you got to be 1% smarter than what you're dealing with. So anyway, a little bit of time went on, and the more I got to meet a lot of the guys in the club, the less I liked them. And some of the shit they wanted done was just it was grade school shit, schoolyard antic crap of degrading. And I just said, nah, fuck this shit. I handed in the rag and told them I'm not interested. A couple weeks after that, my wife just didn't come home one day. She was gone. And I called her family up and everything, and I said, hey, you know where she's at? And she said, well, she said she needs some time. She needs some time away. What the fuck happened here? Shit, everything was going fine, I thought. So anyway, yeah, she left, and kind of fucked my head up. And I decided after about a week of that shit that I'd had enough. And before I've had enough, the two guys across the street, I was telling them what happened. They kind of acted like they already knew, which was kind of weird, but I thought maybe she'd have said something to him, living across the street or whatever. But they said, well, hey, look, you need to go out on a date or whatever. And I said, nah, I really don't feel like it. So anyway, on a Friday, they came over and with this really good-looking chick. I mean, nice body, young, dumber than a rock, and said, hey, she'd like to go for a ride, go out and party a little. I thought, what the fuck, I'll go ahead and do that. So at the time, I mean, I had hair down to my ass. I had a long beard, and I usually tied it up when I rode. You know, on a chopper, you're pretty much out in the wind. Well, I didn't tie anything up, and I went riding that night, so my hair was out and beard, I mean, tangled, and just, I looked like a fluffy cousin It. Matter of fact, the bar that we went to, it was a biker bar, you know, dark, dingy, and I walked in there, and man, people made room for me. I must have really looked frightening. But anyway, so we go in there, we drink our asses off, get fairly drunk. I decided, fuck this shit, you know, I want to go back home and drop her off anywhere. Yeah. So on the way home in Houston, you had feeder roads along the highway that went along parallel to the highway, and the feeder roads also had these ditches next to them, which it makes for very little room. Anyway, the bike broke down, and we were only a few blocks away from the house on this feeder road, and broke down right by a 7-Eleven. So I figured, fuck it, we can push the bike home between her and me, and that'll be the end of it. So we're pushing just past the 7-Eleven, and this cop car pulls up. I mean, just slides in. Doors fly open. I'm trying to put the kickstand down. Got a ditch over here. I got the road right here. Before I can even put the kickstand down, the cop grabs me by the leather jacket, slings me around and right onto the hood of the car. Pulls his gun out, sticks it up against my head, and tells me if I move, I'm a dead motherfucker with my brains splattered everywhere. I'm like, all right, you know, cool, yeah. Starts asking me, you know, where'd you steal the bike? Where'd you, come on, man, look at me. Do I look like I fucking stole a bike? Yeah, get smart with me, motherfucker. He cocks a gun and shit. Back in those days, Houston cops were real cunts. So, anyway, she's holding the bike up by the sissy bar, the kickstand ain't down, and did a fair job of it. You know, she let it over kind of slow after a while, and cop asked me where I live. Driver's license. I reach for my wallet on the hood of the car. He tells me not to move. Pulls my wallet out and shit. So he said, "Oh, I see. You just live up the road, you know." I said, "Yeah, I do, you know." Puts my wallet back in my pants, and says, "All right, well," he says, "you get the hell going. You get off the road." And they left. Well, I guess the guy in the parking lot of the 7-Eleven saw what happened. He drove a pickup truck, and he swings over and he says, "Hey man, let's load the bike up. I'll give you a ride. Let's get the hell out of here." Well, all right, cool. So we load up the bike. We get it over to my house. We unload it and everything. And I reach, I get my wallet out. I want to give him a couple bucks for helping me out, That motherfucker, all my money was gone. I guess the police needed a little bit of play money. Anyway, so, I kind of freaked. So, holy fuck, man, all my money's gone. God said, it's all right, man, don't worry about it. And I thought for a minute, I said, "Hey, man, look, why don't you take her with you?" She doesn't, have any place to go, really, and she wants to party. And now we're talking about 4 in the morning, And he was like, "Yeah, we can do that." And she climbed in his truck and off they went. So anyway, that was the Houston story. And yeah, getting back to, a little bit after that, a few weeks or a week, I decided to head back to Florida. Left everything for her to keep. Just took my own shit. I had a truck at the time. I had a travel trailer. Took my clothes, my tools, the bike, and I said, "Fuck it, leave it," and let her have everything else. I wasn't even gonna fuck around with that came back to Florida, filed for a desertion divorce, which I got. So there was no contesting it, no alimony. We did try to get a hold of her, but nobody could find her. Heard from her about a month later that she ran off with one of the guys in the club. So, whatever. Then a couple months after that, which would have been 3 months after we broke up, she called me up and she told me, well, he took a baseball bat to everything in the house and beat her to ribbons too. And, you know, that kind of pissed me off because I had a nice big fish tank, big octagonal 55 or 60 gallon fish tank with an Oscar in it. And I loved that fish, but I couldn't take him. Guess he smashed that, the TV, the whole house was just demolished. And, I guess, you know, that's what you get. And I told her, well, you know, kind of tough shit that happened, but it's a bed you made, lay in it, you know, have fun. And I hung up on her, and about a month after that, she called me up and said, you know, she wanted me to come back, and, you know, she was dying of cancer, and I just laughed at her. I said, look, bitch, have a nice rest of your life, you know. I knew she was lying and on drugs, and I wasn't going to have any part of it. So anyway, that concludes the little Houston story. I've got a couple more that I wrote down. I'm starting to feel like a biker Terrence Pop clone here, writing shit down. But we can go back to some rides after I got back from Houston, hooking up with the old crowd again, and certain bars we hit and certain things that happened at them. They shouldn't be that long. Hopefully this came out okay. Again, traffic noise and some of the noise out here is just something we're going to have to live with until I get everything settled. So until the next video, arrivederci and cheers, my brothers.